the starting place of this song came from an interesting place. Shane has 3 girls at home.
I do.
Olive, Lily, Emma.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting place. It's loud.
It's loud. A lot of noise. A lot of words.
We just had our 4th daughter, and all under 8 years old, and Shane's are around the same age. And so, needless to say, it's just crazy. It's crazy town at my place. And so this song was birthed by walking into my room, shutting the door, sitting on my bed, and looking at a plaque that says, "Be still and know that I am God." Oh, out of the chaos, in the peaceful, serene bedroom with no people in it. It's true. That's how it started. I looked at that plaque. I've had this plaque, just Psalm 46:10, for 15 years, and it's been a really special thing. But I had no idea, really, the weight of that plaque before I spent some time in Psalm 46. And I put that plaque, "Be still and know that I'm God," in front of the backdrop that is, as history would say, the Song of Trouble. Just briefly, and this was just, I got my Spurgeon commentary out, I got another commentary out, and I went to 2 Kings chapters, it's like 18 through 20-ish, and I just read the context of Psalm 46. And briefly, if you've never heard this before, so this is a little Cliff Note version of church history. And I'll just tell you, and this is what changed everything for me. So King Hezekiah and the nation of Judah were in a city that they had just built these large walls around because the Assyrian army was coming after them, and they had destroyed nation after nation after nation after nation, hundreds of thousands of at the time, the most ferocious warrior, gladiator, braveheart men that history had ever known about, right? And they came taunting this Lord of hosts. The Lord of hosts is with you, King Hezekiah. Just like the last nation's Lord of hosts, and the last nation's Lord of hosts, and the last nation's Lord of hosts. And this psalm, 3 times said, "The Lord of hosts is with you. The Lord of hosts is with you. The Lord of hosts is with you." And the Assyrian army was there, and their back was against the wall. There was zero way out. So the king goes before the Lord in prayer, and it's an awesome. You should go and read it. It's an awesome prayer. But basically, it's like, Lord, unless you do something, we're all gonna die. We're asking you to do something. And the Lord, through the prophet Isaiah, responds. There's rebuke in there. There's all kinds of really amazing things that the Lord responded with. But at the end of the response, it was like, I'm gonna fight the battle for you. It's gonna be okay. And I would have loved to be there in that moment. It's one of those moments I would love to be. I'd love to see the DVD in the end of just like, what's gonna happen? I mean, you hear. I mean, what does that say? Hundreds of thousands of men knocking down. I mean, the rumble of it. You're terrified. And the Lord just said, it's going to be okay. I'm going to fight the battle for you. Like, what are you going to do? I mean, what does that mean, And if you know the story, so that night, not a host of angels, which would seem a little bit more appropriate. Like, give me like 10,000 angels. I like one angel for every, for every 20 men or something, Not a host of angels, not a myriad of angels, but just one angel came out of heaven. The Bible says the angel of the Lord. And when the Bible refers to the angel of the Lord, Psalm 34, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, referenced in the New Testament, we're talking about the Son of God. And I love to imagine this. So this is Jesus before Jesus came to the earth as a man, 700 years before that moment, coming out of heaven, the real Jesus, the same guy, coming out of heaven and slaying 185,000 Assyrian men. 185,000 Assyrian men. And this is the backdrop of Psalm 46. And so imagine this. So this is what commentators, this is how they think this all went down. And so the king brings the people, the nation of Judah, out on the battlefield. Imagine what that looked like. And a horrible scene full of bodies and blood and spears and bows and chariots on fire and all of that went down. And he declares to the nations and to the nation of Judah in particular, "Come behold the works of the Lord. I've made desolations of nations. I've made wars cease to the ends of the earth." He breaks the bow. He bends the spear. He burns the chariots with fire. Be still and know that I'm God. The plaque changed in that moment, for me. And then he says, "I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted on the earth. The Lord of hosts is with you. The God of Jacob is your fortress." It's not the walls. And so wherever you're at, I don't know if you have a moment to listen to this song, wherever you're at, but as you listen to this song, know that this Lord of hosts, it's the same one. Like he was the same Jesus 700 years before he came in a manger, and he's the same Jesus now. And 700 years after that moment, he came to the earth, not as a warrior king. He's coming back one day as a warrior king. Similar things going to happen. That happened in that story, 185,000 slain. Going to be a lot more than that slain one day for wickedness. But he came as a humble servant 700 years after that to fight a bigger war than the war with the Assyrian army, the war on death and sin and hell. And he lived a perfect life, died the death I deserve, rose again from the grave, seen by hundreds of people, and sits victorious over the greatest battle that we've ever had. And so this is the crazy thing, y'all. This is the crazy thing about Psalm 47. And this is one of the things that it did for me, is that I need him. Like, I've had some of those moments where I feel backed against the wall and like, Lord, there's no way out unless you do something. And I know that a lot of you listening to this, your back is against the wall, whatever scenario you're in, and whatever your situation is, and there's just no way out. Unless you do something, there's just no way out. And here's the crazy thing. You don't have to write a letter to the prophet Isaiah. You still don't have to do that. You can come boldly before the throne of grace and cast your cares upon him, because he cares for you. And he told you so when he sent his son again for you. The Lord of hosts, the angel of the Lord, came, and he lived and died for you and rose again so that he would prove to you that he is who he says he is. And you can call upon him. Like, he's there for you right now. You can do that and be reminded through this song. And I think that's what God has done for many that have listened to this song. It's not like, oh, cool song, cool good drum beat in the chorus, It's like, no, he really is that Lord of hosts for me. I really can. He really is. We didn't even put this line in the psalm, but it starts out, Psalm 46, he's an ever-present help in time of need. And you can call on him in your time of need. And I think that's what it's been. It's been some language in times of need to call upon a God who's real.